Sergey here, trying to install Slack. Slack now doesn't support. It's because you're Ukrainian.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
them Russian. They got Slack.
I know.
So until now, I am the proxy. But anyone that needed any assistance on the OpenSIPit.js implementation, we are
Guys,
trying to.
if you want, we can create a channel on the OpenSIP's Slack. I mean, Jonathan already asked that, so why not? If you guys
Actually,
can
you are
join
far
and
behind. We are already, Bogdan actually opened it already and we answer all of his questions there.
on the OpenSIP's
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, yes, on the OpenSIPit.js.
It all happened today. You need to catch up on your Slack messages.
Again.
No, it's just I'm probably
so
not
much I am messaging, like really, I
I'm
don't
probably
understand.
not enrolled in the channel, so that's why I don't see it. But
We will invite you there, husband. You deserve
Okay.
it, you know. We will get you in, I promise.
thank you. Thank you.
That actually might not be a bad idea, like create some kind of space for the module owners to have specific space. At least for the most popular modules, maybe that's.
Yeah, definitely. But let's make sure that we also keep the OpenSIPs guys in it as well.
For sure.
I'd appreciate that. Yeah.
Hey, Razvan, did you speak to Livio? Is he joining us today?
No, I didn't but he's off. He's off for 2 weeks, so he's definitely.
He on vacation.
Yes,
Okay,
he's on
that's probably
vacation.
why I did not. I sent him a message on
No.
Facebook. He didn't reply, so I thought maybe he.
No, he's probably tenting us the system. He won't be joining us.
Okay, that's fine. Well, I guess then, what about Alex? Is he coming today? I saw him sending yes, but Shlomi, do you know something about him?
We're pinging him. We were chatting with him earlier. We will ping him to make sure he's joining. Maybe he missed the time or something.
All right.
He will join.
Yeah.
I can be the replacement of the MC for now until
Yeah.
Alex is coming. So
Great,
welcome everybody to the OpenSIPit.
Yeah.
How are you all folks? Maxim, do you have any interesting stuff to show us?
Oh yeah, I got even some slides. So
go for it. Nice. Good.
Yeah,
so lead the way. You don't really need Alex for it.
Yeah, I got a second.
Sure. And Maxim has left. And he's joined.
Yeah, I'm just switching mode.
Great.
Okay. I guess we don't need this. So basically something came up last week that I wanted to bounce off you guys. I already briefly chatted about this with Razvan, but I've been at the BSDCon, FreeBSD mostly summit but there were a few other BSDs present in Ottawa last week. And one of the presentation was those guys, Alpha and Omega, and what they do, they basically they are non-profit. They get money out of raise money out of like big corporations, so like Microsoft, Google, AWS, etc. And the idea is that they want to give it to open source projects to work on various security related items, and basically look pretty cool, very similar to what we did with security audit, but they're not focused on a specific project, on specific areas. They're basically looking for kind of infrastructural projects, which I think all of our projects kind of are. So might be good idea to look into it. I was thinking either like going separately, like OpenSIPs could apply, like we can apply for RTP proxy. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
You guys
definitely
can also
looks.
apply, but also we can do like something more like maybe a joint project, maybe something like whatever needs to be improved on both ends. So like for example, adding like TLS into like RTP proxy control channel or something, and yeah, they are pretty nice guys. Also, let me switch my. I have this website open, so I need. Oh yeah, no, it's actually was already cool. Yeah, I guess. Let me just open. Yeah, so you see, there are a few big projects here. So like Linux kernel, Python, Rust, OpenJS. Those guys get most of the money, obviously. So you see, like Eclipse got almost $1 million. Rust got
So
600.
you simply
But
apply, and they will take it over to the big companies and ask them, "Do you
no,
want
no,
to
no.
fund
They
this?"
already have money. They have
Oh,
money.
they already have the money. Okay.
No, no, no. Yeah. They have money, so they don't really need to go and raise it. That's basically they have the process set up. I guess it's some kind of recurring. Anyway, they did not go into details of that, but I got the idea that they got money now. And as you see, there are big projects, but also like small projects like this is Cure 53, got 50K. Smaller like FreeBSD got 130. And what they also interested, they try to build like portfolio of the project. So basically they're not looking at like one time. So if you see like some of the projects listed multiple times here, so Node, Prosimo, blah blah blah. So kind of interesting. So it basically we could put this into some kind of going stuff. So yeah, I'm going to look into this pretty soon. So if you guys interested, we can kind of do maybe a separate follow-up meeting or something.
No, this definitely looks great. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the guys are super nice. I spoke to the guy. Actually, give him a little bit of overview.
I just want to say something regarding security, and it appears that security is somehow on a hype right now, because we've currently received on a separate channel, so it's not a public channel, but we received a couple of security which really makes sense. We didn't publish them yet, but we will. But apparently there are a lot of organizations, all of them are free, and I don't know, universities and all sorts of programs that are scanning the World Wide Web and finding issues. So yeah, that's having something more organized would definitely, I mean, for example, the security audit was a big plus for OpenSIS, because not only we found a couple of really interesting bugs that we haven't seen before, but we get some sort of a verification, like a certification, let's say, in security. So yeah, why not? Looks really interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks for
Yeah.
sharing.
Okay. Yeah. Basically, they want to see some specific projects, so they don't really give money like whatever. So I think they, if you look at the description here, they want to have basically specific projects that they fund, like that security audit or something. Anyway, so that's kind of for starters. And then I was thinking a little bit more going forward, like as I mentioned on the and demonstrated, we're working on CPREC client and server parts, both at the protocol level in our CPU stack, but also like as a as a kind of wholesome product or whatever, like open source product. And I was thinking, like, we obviously wanted to be as secure as possible, because it's kind of critical component, right? Because if you want to record your calls, you basically want to make sure that it does not leak, does not introduce like any additional security problems. And so I was thinking what we can do in that regards, like what kind of measure we can implement, and like there are several things we can do, like obvious things we can make sure that we can do like SIP-TLS on CPREC calls for signaling. And then another thing that we can actually use that auth int, which almost nobody uses in the industry, which allows us to protect integrity of the body. In this case, it's more important, I believe, because CPREC sends a bunch of call details right in the body, so we don't want that to be, modified in transit somewhere. And then another thing that obvious, but kind of have not seen this. Well, at least I have not really considered it yet. But like use digest authentication when we're sending calls to the recording server. And then on media and would be nice if we can do something like RTP DTLS again on the recording channels. And this is like to do most of it just for discussion, but just wanted to see what you guys think. And then another thing that kind of interesting to explore is to have ability for the client to for this server to register to the client. And this is kind of, I think it's kind of, would be kind of cool and useful, because if you think about like practical deployment of CPREC, if you have a network of SIP network, you will have a bunch of recording client. So you have a bunch of regions probably if you're distributed network, and all of them will be in different locations. But then obviously kind of putting a server into each of those locations kind of makes no sense usually, especially since it's security critical. You probably don't want to have like a huge number of them. So I would imagine you would have probably just a few of those somewhere in let's say for redundancy or whatever. And as I said, they're probably not going to be in the same data center as all those guys, so there will be kind of not yeah, especially with AWS, will be kind of nuts on both ends. And so we need some way to kind of connect those, right? Because again, like hooking like directly with IP addresses or DNS resolution is kind of lame and does not scale very well. So the best way, I would say, probably, since those guys already do SIP, right? You have SIP everywhere. So technically speaking, those guys could probably just register here. So anyway,
Nice.
so, and then this guy can also register, so we have some redundancy. And then it's pretty trivial. Then if you need to record instead of going through like directly, you will just go through that register kind of thing. And then yep.
Yeah. By the way, like it just crossed my mind like that. Do you have like what's like your best recommendation for doing that? Not just for the audio in CPREG that, you fork the RTP and store it as a different record, but actually to do it for video. Is it also supporting video, or like what's the best practice for forking video to be captured and saved?
Oh, it's the same. You can capture video just right now, no problem. You just create, you can fork it or create a local copy.
Actually, you can skip it. That's probably a limitation. So if the call goes currently, for example, in OpenSIPs, if the call has both audio and video, both of them will be sent to the SRS. You can let's say ignore the video, or so yeah. It's
Is it? I think it maybe it's limitation, Rizwan. I don't know. I think it's maybe limitation on.
it's an implementation limitation. Yeah, I mean this is how we implemented it.
Yeah.
But as far as I know, the SRS, for example, can reject it. So just return a port 0 and it will not be forked. But I don't actually. It depends, because we can do it in two ways in OpenSIPs. We can either use CBREC, which I'm pretty sure it will advertise all the streams in a call. But we can also do it with media exchange, and over there you can say I'm only interested in media 1 or 2, right? So yeah, but essentially Nipsan, it may, I mean, if the protocol supports it, I'm pretty sure the SRS, both RTP, proxy, and whatever you would use, are able to
Capture the video there.
capture it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's just the burden of moving it from the media server or the media proxy from RTP proxy, the burden like the bandwidth and all the stuff that you will have to move it or fork it from the main call to. And this is actually why my concerns when it comes to CBREC. Of course, I mean, your proposal is great, Max. I mean, if you, for example, offer SRS as a service, have it somewhere posted and provide it as a service to different. It will definitely need some sort of encryption as well as DTLS security. Let's call it, because it will go over the public network, right?
Yeah. And if it's your own things, it's better, I guess, to make sure it's not somebody like local people, local DC people. It's most of the company don't own the DCs, right? So there is always somebody there that you don't trust necessarily. So yeah, that's those. And then more on SRS side, thinking about like how basically limit because you're storing bunch of thousands of recordings potentially like sensitive and stuff. And in many cases, is also kind of obviously related to law enforcement requirements. I
Mhm,
used to we actually have a little bit of like fun story. Like in 2006, I think we filed.
Are
Company I
you
was
allowed
working
to?
for.
Are you allowed to tell the story in public, Maxim?
Yeah, it's kind of public knowledge. The company I was
Okay.
working for, they did some patents in this area, but yeah. So I had quite a lot of discussion with and looking into actual CALIA requirements and whatnot. But it was a long time ago. Anyway, the idea here is that we want to limit exposure, right? So the good way to do it is make sure that the server, SIP recording server, only has access for a limited time to that recording, which could be either accomplished by using some kind of offsite storage, but still, you probably don't want to do it 100% of the time, or at least you need to have some kind of backup in case something like AWS S3 is not working or connection is broken. So you still want to store it locally, have ability to store it locally, and the way to do it is
By
basically
the way, MinIO with the a bucket with the signature already has 3 capabilities that you can deploy over a local and MinIO. That can give you you can win both worlds with that,
Yeah, but this is like more like security usually is a layered approach, right? So some folks will have this layer, some might not need it, but basically we need some way to encrypt it after it's been recorded. So basically the server cannot access it anymore. This way, if somebody breaks into a recording server, all they get is like encrypted. Even if they get the half of the key, they won't be able to decrypt it. So that's should be fine. And yeah, there is a reason. Like this is kind of linked to this Alpha Omega. We can, for example, I don't know, do some projects again. To work on this area specifically on both ends, because obviously, like, okay, we can add it to our SRS, but if Razvan's SRC does not support, some of it is kind of not as much useful then. So the idea is that if we can make some baseline, and then both ends can benefit from it. So that's that. Then I opened a pull request actually with update for TPO, and that is to hook the notification socket. So I'm still working on the test case. And maybe Razvan, that's what I wanted to ask you, if you can give me some examples, maybe how to use disconnect notification with OpenSIPs. I
What
can show you my
exactly would you
config.
need? Sure.
Helps. Yeah, let me dig. It should be sync actions. Just go to actions. Yeah, my last update is still built in, but almost there. Okay, previous one is it's on mine. Did not work. Doesn't matter. Yeah, it's pretty simple config. It should be done somewhere here. Oh yeah. So basically we have we're only using transaction module here. So it's like T reply, T on reply, blah blah blah. So all it does, it basically we have two ends, Alice and Bob, and so if it comes from Alice, we basically set port to Bob. If it comes from Bob, we set port to Alice.
Okay, so just
and then we relay, right? So we don't do much else. And then obviously there is on reply where we do like RTP proxy answer and failure and RTP proxy enforce. So what do we need to change to make disconnect notification work?
Yeah,
here?
it's three things, I think. So first you need to define the socket. The OpenSIPit will be listening. So RTP, I think, notification socket.
Oh yeah,
It's
that
all
part,
the
as I said,
parameters.
is not going to be not needed because it's handled by RTPO module.
No, but
what-
the notification socket, I mean, OpenSIPit needs to listen on it. I mean, it needs to bind.
no, but that's what this patch does eliminate. So it basically
Oh, I
creates.
see. So, oh, okay. So just, I mean, you will handle it from the module itself, the notification, right?
Yes, exactly. So this is the only configuration that we would need. The rest will be done under the hood.
Then simply load the dialog module
Uh-huh.
and just call create dialog on the call. I mean, do you have it somewhere?
Have what?
If you have the config, so you can just add it. I mean, this is just the logs.
Oh yeah. We can do. Let's see.
Should be quite simple. But so you're saying that the module already receives the notification, so the
Notification. I tested this with my CP stack. It works fine. We just need to integrate it into the
Okay.
modules so it works in the same way. Okay.
No, but I'm wondering how is the notification sent from the RTP proxy internal process to OpenSIPit?
Let's see.
I'll be frank, I didn't take an in-depth look at the RTP-IO module.
Yeah. So the way it works, we basically allocate. Let's say this is before fork, right? So
Yeah, so you reserve
well,
a process for
yeah,
RTP.
we reserve sockets, right? Before we fork, so a bunch of sockets are created, and then we obviously fork into different processes here. So some of them will be. So there is our SIP. And then we fork so that one hosts like RTP proxy threads. And then we
those are
obviously
processes, right?
Yeah, those are processes. And then we fork notification. Notification process, like usually, right? We do this. If you specify the socket, we fork it, and then like let's say this is a socket for notifications. Well, it's split in half, so basically half of that goes to here, right? And another half goes to here. And so then when we need to notify, basically just like that.
Mm-hmm. But so the thing is that process is only started if you define the notification socket parameter. You're saying that you've done that internally in RTPIO?
No. Change the code. So now it's in pull request. For now, I just
Okay.
I started unconditionally, but I think I can also. I have not. I want to test it first and then see if I can optimize. I think I can also still do it conditionally even with this, but that's kind of like doesn't matter really for this. So yeah, this is architecture. So really, I guess let me open this file.
Oh, I see. No, I was looking at the pull request. So I see that you also modify RTP proxy. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Let me find which one should we use. This one probably simple. Yeah, this looks like it. It's a little bit more difficult because it has lots of if depths. But okay, so you're saying we need to load module.
The dialog module, yeah. And then simply create the dialog, or I think you can have a parameter saying
When do
lower,
is it
lower. Yeah, it has to be the initial invite, but it's probably lower. Yeah, just before the tip relay. Just do it.
But
Yeah.
it needs to be invite then, you're right?
It has to be invite, and it should not have to tag. So invite and not has to tag. But I think just give me a second. I think there's a flag that you can set in RTP proxy to always force it.
You mean the dialog?
No, not the dialog. Force. No, it's not here. No, just data like that.
Yeah, I will clean it up later. That's fine.
Yeah,
And
has to tag. You forgot the parentheses, but yeah, more or less. Yeah, just create underscore dialog.
Okay, and any parameters? Does it need any parameters?
It doesn't need any parameters, but I see that you're doing RTP proxy offer. It has to have the N flag there.
Oh yeah, notification. Yeah.
So no flags to create dialog, and parentheses both create dialogs and has to tag, and that should be it.
Okay, that's cool.
I was looking at the PR, and there's one small catch. You use the extra processes. If you want, I can share my screen to show you.
Yeah.
I will better comment the PR.
Yeah. What is your concern? Let's see if it's because it's still draft kind of thing. So
Okay.
maybe
Let me share. I took over. Yeah. So here there's an internal issue with loading the processes here. That's because it's related to counting the processes. So we should not have more processes before modding it than after modding it. So ideally set 0 here, and whenever we decide we need the processes, for example here, just do exports.prox that. So it's Essentially, it's only this logic. You should leave it here 0 and move exports dot prox equals prox here.
I'm not sure why.
It's an internal stuff, and trust me, I've I've fought this a couple of times. The idea is
Trust this
we
bastard. Trust him.
nah, yeah, just
That's
trust
actually
me. No,
what
I can
Okay.
explain. So for if we have too many if we so OpenShift when it starts counts the number of processes it needs twice,
Yeah,
before mod init and after mod init.
yeah.
Before mod init, it allocates a couple of resources, file descriptor for internal pipes, and I don't remember exactly what. And let's say it allocates more than needed, let's say. And then if we realize that we don't need we don't need some processes, for example, the notification process, it basically shrinks that list, but it will still wait for the status to be communicated, and essentially it will exit with an error because it didn't receive anything from a process that isn't even forked.
But in this case, yeah, I think you meant misunderstanding. This change actually
Always
goes
starts the
opposite.
notification
Yeah,
process.
yeah.
Okay.
So it's actually in opposite direction. But I
Mhm.
might revert it to the previous behavior. I just have not figured out
If
how to do it yet.
if you think it will always start it, I mean, it can't always start because it only starts it if you are using RTP.io, right? The module. So it's still
Not right now. Yeah. But yeah, this is still in. But good to know. I will definitely
yeah.
make sure I don't.
Chat
I
on the
don't.
PR. I mean,
Yeah. But
it's-
yeah, it's a good, good to know. kind of.
besides
But
that,
yeah.
I trust it's the right stuff. I mean, it's quite comprehensive, let's say.
Yeah. Well, it will come with automatic testing, so
Exactly.
we
So
might be sure that it's functional. Okay, that's noted. So yeah, basically, I will then try to do this dialogue, and then for the dialogue, do we need anything in on reply or on failure? Do we also need to pass the N flag or not?
no, not really, because it's only needed at no, just the offer needs it, and only
Okay.
when
Okay.
the
So
first offer basically.
first offer. Okay. Then I will try it and get back to you if anything not
Sure.
working.
Yeah.
And then hopefully you will see it in the pull request.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. Okay, moving on. What else do I have on my list?
Let us know when we have
During
two
the
topics that we want to discuss from our side, if there is.
Oh, right. No. Let me finish. I
yeah,
almost. I think I
Yeah,
already
yeah,
have
yeah.
like 10
Finish,
turn on the
minutes.
finish.
presentation back, Max.
Where is
Yeah.
your presentation?
It's coming. Okay. The
Extra
next
designed one,
update.
yeah.
Yeah. The next update I pushed actually that Python module for TP proxy to PPI. I changed the name, so I in my presentation. I think on OpenSIP Summit it was called RTP proxy. I decided to change because it's kind of more in what I'm trying to do with this. So now it's on PPI. Should be pretty much installable on. Let's see, where's my.
So this is just an implementation of the control protocol, right?
No. This is actually the same idea, but for Python. The same idea is
Also, just start RTP IO from a Python module and
yeah,
RTP proxy from a Python.
yeah.
Nice.
You know,
And
we are all
also be
still
able to
waiting
interact.
You know, we are all still waiting for the base 64 for the AI implementation over it. You know, like you made us all waiting for something, Maxim. You know, like
Yeah,
people are still
what
dreaming
I
of
can
you
do.
after nights. You know, after you
Yeah.
getting such a promising over Amsterdam. You know,
Yeah. I'm trying, but there is only
I'm
so
just
many
telling you,
hours.
there is people that are waiting. No obligation, but just pressure. You know.
Yeah.
Just
Um,
kidding. Just kidding.
yeah, then I'm working on RTP proxy core changes for that recording as we discussed on OpenSIP Summit. So basically, idea here is this is the current core infrastructure. We have bunch of threads. But what's important right now, recording is kind of still collocated with RTP processing because it's pretty simple right now. We basically just either copy or store the packet and that's it. But since we're going to add much more functionality to support like multiple streams recording, maybe at some point, well, not maybe, but at some point there will also be some way to decode it and for that AI stuff. And so basically the idea here is we move recording processing into separate thread. This way we basically don't create load in the RTP forwarding processing and can add much more functionality into recording without affecting anything else. So yeah, this is still in my work queue. Hopefully, I will finish it by the end of the month. And then with that will come set of changes for the protocol. I just give you mostly for us one, I guess. Looking at some changes to the protocol. First, I wanted to make it possible to use copy as subcommand. And basically what this allows us to do instead of like right now, like let's say we want to set up a copy of both streams in a session. We basically need 4 commands. So we need to create one end, we need to create another end, and we need to start recording on both of those ends. And what basically the problem here is each time we do this there is a latency and also obviously more logic on the like SIP record SIPREC client or server or client in this case, I guess. We want to reduce this by making it possible to use this copy as part of the session creation. So you can basically with one command will be able to do both set up a session and start recording in one go, and also reduce a little bit traffic because now you don't need to pass call ID.
Okay, just one comment. It's usually, I mean, the way CPREC works right now, I'm not sure about media exchange, but the thing is, when you have only the you only have one stream, so we usually don't start recording because we don't have both streams. So probably it only makes sense on the lookup on the L command.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, yeah. I guess that's right. But in our case, at least let's see where it's useful. Yeah, I think you might be not as useful, although.
Of course,
Yeah,
RTP,
I need
of course, RTP proxy can only copy in one stream. So probably from your perspective, both of them should be available, but we will
yeah,
probably only use the
both
second one.
variants. Both variants will work. Just whatever makes sense.
Yeah.
And then, as we discussed, we want to have a two-stage copy setup and multiple copy streams. And this is needed because at the time we need to initiate SIP recording. We don't know the remote address of the media for that session.
Yeah,
So
remember to allocate a port.
yeah, and we also need to allocate some port to send to the other side. So this is what this change will do. We basically have some other modifier for the copy, where you only provide part of the information. You don't give it any target, and it will, in this case, it will create a session. But you
Provide the yeah, and there's also a recording ID which we will use to identify that specific copy, right?
exactly. Yeah, so basically, it
Yeah.
will give you both like local port and address for media, and also record ID. And then once you got your 200 OK or whatever, like from recording server, you will be able to do record ID, send record ID, send IP address of the server and recording port to update it. And the same thing, I guess, I did not really put it here, but
For stopping the recording.
yeah, we also did think we like since this will have multiple streams. It's probably a good idea to have some way to shut some of them off if
Yeah,
for some reason SRS sends you by.
but
You
I
will
think
be able.
we have a command for that. I believe I created a PR for that, right?
Oh, you did?
I think it's the N command. If it's not, I will do it. But I think we have it.
Yeah, I'll check it. I don't remember. I might have missed it anyway.
I think I made it and poor PR did.
But I think I converted it to the sub command actually. But yeah, okay. Let me look into that. I have not really.
And there's one more thing I would like to say here.
Okay.
When you finish.
Yeah, I'm done with this.
Okay. So you said that you would like to have DTLS for this copying. It would be nice. I don't really know because we haven't integrated DTLS in OpenSIPs with RTP proxy so far, and that's on me, and I will do it. It's just, it would be nice, it would be needed, let's say, somewhere in this copy command to say, well, I want to copy this stream, but I want to send it over DTLS.
Yeah, well, this is a little bit farther down the road because right now this is technically a little bit difficult because DTLS is kind of set up to only work on RTP streams, real RTP streams, while recording is kind of, at least at the moment, is not set up as a whole stream. Like it's only like kind
just
of
dumping in the file or
yeah.
destination.
So right now it's pretty simple. Yeah, but this is definitely on my yeah, as you saw on one of those slides.
I was just saying to keep in mind when when defining the protocol, just to be able to extend it.
Yeah. Well, I think we will probably have some kind of integration. Anyway, I haven't really got too much time to think about that. So no comments for now. Yeah.
Just throwing ideas.
Yeah.
That's why we're here, right?
I'm
It's
just
easier to
trying,
say when you don't need to
trying
implement it.
it's the big idea for now. Trying to kind of ditch it. Anyway, so unless anything else, I just wanted Razvan, I guess, for the sake of Razvan, to
No, that's
flesh it
that's
out.
great.
And then the last thing I have, I spoke. I don't have much content on here, but I spoke to Sandro like a few days ago. He's on vacation, bastard. Um,
Where is
and
Sandro? Where is it?
he's in Malta, I think. His
Come on.
his
He should
family.
join us. He should join us.
Oh yeah. He's in on vacation.
Hometown, right? He's from
yeah.
Malta.
Yeah. So he's on with I think with his family. Whatever. But next time he said he would try to join.
Good.
But he is working on revision of his RTP bleed attack. And for those who don't know what RTP bleed is basically a problem with any RTP forwarder which has not traversal support. And the problem is that we don't really know who is like IP address of the sender until we get the first packet. So if somebody sneaks in the packet before real packet, that packet will be considered, that source will be considered as a true source, and RTP will go to that point. We did quite a lot of work to eliminate that. So basically, right now RTP proxy has a very short window. It's like few seconds to update this. But still, if there is not so many ports, so there is only 65,000 ports in total, and usually you don't allocate all of them for TP. So search space is not huge, and you can probably send more than 60,000 packets, UDP packets in a second easily without like spending huge budget. So essentially, you can pretty much scan every port on the system continuously and find those new ports that just been opened. So basically, maybe session is not even set up fully. You have not got 200 OK, but the port is already there. So when somebody sends packet, it will be latched and the media will
Sounds
go.
like a race condition snitch.
Yeah. And unfortunately, this is pretty much impossible to fix without also breaking not traversal. So I was
That's
thinking.
what ZRTP aims, right? But that's impossible to implement.
Yeah. Well, another funny story about ZRTP. The guy actually approached me, Zimmer, like Phil Zimmerman, right? His name.
Yeah.
He approached me. I was still living in Ukraine, so it must be somewhere like 2004, 2005 or time frame. He was like, "Oh, there is this cool ZRTP protocol. How about you add it to the RTP proxy?" I was like, "Okay." I was not making much money actually from that project at the time, and he was like, "Okay, let's like." I quoted him. I think not kind of not excessive. Like I was in Ukraine, so my rates were quite low. And he's like, "No, I cannot pay for this. It's like you're supposed to do it for free." So it did not go anywhere. But anyway, yeah. But apart from ZRTP, I think at least one thing we can do, Razvan, pretty easily. At least, well, easily in the sense that it's easy to implement, but not so easy to get everyone start using it. I think what we can do to prevent this, if we have SSRC attribute in the SDP, right? We can latch that SSRC, whatever it is.
But
Why not
for example,
extended SDP? there is not enough attribute in STP. Let's add more attributes, you know.
Oh no, it's already there. It's standardized as part of async WebRTC. So pretty much any WebRTC implementation already includes it.
You're saying any attribute they could add in a WebRTC, it's already there.
Yeah. But the point is that if we have this attribute, we can prevent this RTP bleed, right? Because
unless a man in the middle sees the SDP as well and knows exactly what SSRC to target and what port to target, right?
yes, that's true. But this makes it quite less feasible, right? Because right now you don't need any access to anything really. You just need to know.
You just need to send RTP packets randomly.
Yeah, you just need to know what you just need
right.
to know IP address of the box with RTP proxy or RTP engine, and that's all you need really. You don't need to like touch SIP. You don't need to capture anything. It's pretty blind. And yeah, this funny story again. I don't know. Maybe not.
It's
anyway,
also
I'll
like
tell you other time.
trying to enforce symmetric NAT as much as possible, right? I mean, if you do symmetric, then it will go to the. Oh, actually, no, because if you do bleed, it will learn the wrong. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, bleed is basically exploiting this learning.
Yes, exactly. Window.
Learning behavior in window.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically maybe something again we can push to like alpha omega or just work on it. Like adding like support for this into RTP proxy module or RTP engines probably not to be difficult. And I believe I already have ability to accept SSRC. I will need to check, but I see there are some of that already in RTP proxy, but if not, could be also easily easily added. So what do you think, Razvan?
Well, that's. I mean, that's more on you. If you just need to provide it, we can easily do that.
yeah, but just as
I just heard the Radvan was obligated to do the
no
model. Really,
obligation.
it's very it was very nice of you, Radvan, to promise that. Really.
Yeah. But
Out here in
No,
public.
I can make promises. I'm not afraid of
I'm
that.
not
I
really-
don't give time. I
I'm a
don't
good
give
politics.
deadlines.
I'm never
That's it.
doing them. Like I'm just promising.
No, but
Very well.
the having the SSRC, I mean, it's easy for us to pass it. To be honest, I've never followed whether the endpoints also follow them. I mean, because they probably say something in SSRC and then just change it. And for example, if we're using media exchange, I believe in 3.4 this has been sorted out. So whenever we are passing a different SDP from a different source through RTP proxy, we are doing another offer. So we present you the opportunity to update the SSRC and the endpoint, which
Is that been implemented part of the module, or it's something you need to implement it part of
no, it's already in there. So because I'm pretty sure this was a problem before 3.4 or 3.2. I don't recall exactly what version. And I know because before having RTP relay.
3.4, all should go to the latest. 3.5. No, just case.
No, everything is in there. So before having RTP, actually, this is one of the reasons we implemented RTP relay, because there was, from the OpenSIPit perspective, there was no central, let's say, hook there was no central way of saying this call is going through RTP proxy. So and even if it was, we didn't know
like some
which
kind of
RTP
a state,
proxy.
some kind of a state of the RTP from the signaling layer was never
Ex-
been done before. This is like the only.
For RTP relay, no. That's why we needed the dialog module, because the dialog module is the only storage, let's say, that is available throughout the entire call. So that's why we had to hook it on top of the dialog module, because we needed something to say, okay, this call is being hooked in this RTP proxy endpoint and is using this RTP proxy, let's say, flag.
The
and so on and so forth.
RTP state by itself is a state that needs to be managed. You say like
Exactly.
Like
Exactly.
even if you are a signaling proxies, you still need to manage the state of the RTP.
Exactly, because it
Concept.
might change interfaces, whatever. You might be running one side on the public
I was
interface
wondering,
and
do we
the other
have
one on the
event?
private.
Do we have like event route over it? Do we have like some kind of changes? If we finally have something to manage this state, do we have anything that manage the event that's coming out of this stage?
No events. Actually, there are some that we've added in, I believe, 3.5, and yeah, I think there are.
You
Yes.
saw. I
Just
do.
can
That's
be-
why I'm doing a promotion for the new versions. You should all eat the bugs, not just the
there's
early
no new
adapters.
versions. It's only the supported one. So we are only supporting 3.4 plus. So go for 3.4. It's all in there.
Good. Nice to hear.
Oh yeah. Well, okay, but then going back to the CPREC security, like another thing that just came to my mind, for CPREC this is also kind of relevant, right? Because you don't want your CPREC server to launch some attacker address, because kind of that might be disabled recording. So
Yeah,
like
absolutely. I think the number
probably
one complexity of a recording is really the security layer, and we should all get. And I really like the initiative and the idea of getting the security layer of the recording or a big deal from the RTP side of it. It's amazing initiative, and thank you, Max, for taking this approach. Really.
thanks. Okay, and another thing that kind of again just came to my mind is actually happened to me, but it also I think kind of security risk. Let's say you have your forwarding, node with RTP proxy or RTP engine, and then you have your recording which you don't manage. Managed by somebody else, and then you fork the streams and you send in basically the same SSRC to them. Funny part, it actually happened to me inadvertently when I was just working on first revision of CPREC server. Basically, what happened is I did not set up RTP sessions correctly. So my recording server would receive packet from the client, recording packet, and then send it back to the client. And so the client received this packet from me, from my phone, forwarded to CPREC server and to the other party, and then CPREC server sends back the same packet with the same SSRC, obviously, back to the forwarder, like RTP proxy. And so then RTP proxy latches CPREC server instead, because SSRC is the same, but the IP address is different. So it considers that client has moved to different, access point or whatever, and starts sending the same packet in a loop. Like it sends it to CPREC, CPREC sends it back. So it loops.
That's quite interesting, because it will essentially loops the
Yeah,
same
but
packet.
funny part. Then what happens? It loops like 10 or maybe 20 times the same packet, and then real packet comes from my phone. Next packet, like in whatever, like 10
Yeah,
10 microseconds, and
with the same
and
SSRC.
then it again latches the proper address, sends it to the target, sends it to CPREC. Then CPREC sends it back. Now this is like second packet goes 20 times, third packet goes.
But Max,
yeah.
can't you determine that the timestamp in the RTP has not changed? I mean,
Yeah, there are deduplication, so it basically
yeah, the
will
duplication
drop
exactly.
those packets. But still, you have like I have like it's still in
Oh, there
recording,
was
right? So I
yeah.
was like, why I'm getting like 20 packets recorded 20 times? What's happening? And it took me like little bit of head scratching to figure out what's going on. But you see, this is
That's
kind
interesting.
of security issue, because if you're not operating your CPREC server, then they know your forwarder, because that's where they get RTP from, right? So they already know your IP address, where your RTP proxy or RTP engine lives, and then now they have SSRC, so they can latch whatever.
Just an idea probably would sort this out. For example, RTP engine, I'm pretty sure it changes the SSRC for the copy.
Okay, well, we don't, so that's for us.
Yeah, but that might be might be a quick fix for this, provided that we also enforce the SSRC. What you said earlier. Right?
Yeah, but this is another, yeah. Okay, well, there's like 10 items to work. Okay, good for the next 3 years. I'm done.
Well, 3 months until the next OpenSIPIt, right?
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm done, unless somebody has any questions on any of this, and we can pass over to
I have one, but after Shlomi.
Shlomi.
Yeah, no. So I will go for one, and then we will go for the you, and then we will go back. So generally,
thank you.
just a quick update about the bug that we got over the OpenSIP.js part, which actually left us into an OpenSIP's Wolf SSL issue. Generally, like we got like this issue about restarting when OpenShift's getting restarts many times.
Session tickets? You mean?
What?
Session tickets, Wolf's SSL session tickets?
Yes, exactly. The end check was like because the Wolf SSL was considering this session already being established, he wasn't being able to establish it until we were actually restarting in the browser. And actually, like, it was very funny for community came out to it from OpenSIP.js bug perspective. But actually, in the end, and Vlad was involved by and again, thank
Is it me or Shlomi?
I think somebody answered our prayers, but we'll see.
Sorry, my battery
There he
died
is.
on me. Thank me for having Nitzan as my
I'm
redundant.
redundant.
And this, but a different sperm, a redundant from a different sperm for me. So generally, again, we like going to push the fix for the open for the Wolf SSL stuff, but made us think again about after, like, I guess any one of the community member that was suffering from the OpenSSL's bugs, and then we move into Wolf SSL. Now we're finding their bug in there. So really, like, and Vlad was really making a consideration about trying to create the kernel module. Like, so there is on the new kernels, there is actually the TLS kernel implementation. So we are considering like working over the KTLS OpenShips module, which will enable us really to use the TLS tunneling and decryption over the kernel side, which hopefully will make our worker much less abused by our amounts of TLS and WebSocket. Actually, after moving most of our software to being OpenSIPs.js based, we are having most of our load of OpenSIPs being based on the TLS connection of the WSS. And really considering finding other alternative beside Wolf SSL becoming like crucial and I think important part for the community side. And again, we are like heavy on it and explaining the motivation we are having in there. And I wish anyone have any remark or anything that they have to say us about starting working of the kernel TLS implementation as an alternative to the Wolf or the OpenSSL implementation will be nice. And I find this forum is an amazing place to talk about it. Make
No,
sense?
yeah, definitely. That's amazing. I mean, if you guys are, to be frank, I had no idea that the kernel has its own TLS implementation, and I'm looking forward to
Oh
it.
yeah, it does.
No, I'm
I
telling you,
didn't know.
Vlad already wrote it. I'm so happy that he's
No,
not
no,
part of
definitely.
this call that I can speak on his behalf and making a promise about it. You know, I love this game, like really.
The
Thank you,
thing
Vlad,
is,
for not showing.
Sick
And for
fucking
doing this
motherfucker.
task.
And more for doing this task for all of us, the community. But really, for being not showing and being able to promise it's more than all. No, just kidding. But
Yeah, KTLS is kind of old technology now because it's used mostly by the web servers, obviously. Like
no,
in
but
my
especially for web server, you know, the WebSocket implementation is classic from that perspective, and as OpenSIPs.js perspective, it's something like we feel we need to take it into consideration as part of managing the project and making sure the transport layer is very stable and effectively.
good, I think it's great.
No. Again, for me, I'm looking here for getting reject more. Like, tell us, it's a bad idea. You guys
no.
crazy. Stop
I won't do
making
that.
more
What I
TLS
can,
modules. Please do something with yourself. But otherwise, like, yeah, it is something we are looking forward to implement and looking for any help on.
Yeah. Just a general normal day in the OpenSIPs community. Let's just do a new TLS implementation. Yeah, sounds fun.
let me
Kernel
share
one, a
our
kernel one.
experience about this. So we initially started with OpenSSL, which is the most, let's say, widely spread implementation of SSL, and it worked out very, very well until, I believe, version 1.1.e. At that point, we were using it in a particular way because we have multi-process, and anyway, we have different, we have some sort of, and at that point, when we faced some issues, we raised, and I personally raised the ticket on the OpenSSL, describing the problem and saying, okay, this used to work, now it doesn't. And the guys from OpenSSL responded, and I can share because it was publicly on their GitHub. They said, yeah, it was not supposed to work like this. You're doing it wrong. But they didn't. I asked for an alternative, right? So they couldn't provide any. So we had to find an alternative, and that alternative back then was Wolf SSL. On the other side of the Wolf SSL stack, we had an issue, like it was an internal problem. I opened the ticket as well, and the guy is responding within 1 day, which is amazing, right? I mean, it's quite
Yeah, for sure.
they're responding, and within, I believe, 6 days, it was already fixed. So it's completely different. That's why I mean, using another stack is not going to be, let's say, 100% safe because we are using the stack itself in a particular way. And but the fact that the Wolf SSL guys are responding to tickets and willing to sort it out, it's a big plus from my side. The guys from OpenSSL didn't do this well because
Yeah,
probably they were not
but I guess
targeting
the
this kind
kernel
of
side is
scenario.
the other way around. I guess there will not be kernel modification because our request. How nice we will smile and ask. But I guess that will be some kind of performance benefits by using the kernel TLS.
I think
Uh,
they will be more willing to accept any pull requests if they are correct. And I mean, if we invest in that direction, but if we are willing to go that way, I guess we will need to invest. And I mean, invest like
I'm
commit
not
to
saying it's
making
something that
the
should be production on 3.6 or 3.7, but I think as the long-term perspective and community, I think in understanding that we should not adapt into the kernel layer should be giving us a good benefit into the future.
it should hide a lot of issues that we have right now.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
so
having another alternative for,
Exactly,
for
of course, yeah.
mandatory.
Again, I
Of course.
was given the background of our motivation by being raped by a Wolf SSL implementation today, which Vlad should publish in the next couple of days. But it's crucial because
Awesome.
really it's making a browser needed to be restarted after OpenSIPs restarted to reestablish SSL connection. So like crazy stuff that like it doesn't feel like we should deal with, but again, it's part of the implementation perspective. But make us all think about maybe moving into the kernel layer will not only be beneficial from performance perspective, but also be from a long-term perspective with less bugs. So
Exactly.
think that
It's the long-term solution. If
no,
yeah.
exactly. Like so, and again, I'm happy to hear that this is your perspective. And again, anyone having any view on this point, let us know because I think it's a community effort and it's something that need to be aligned in between all of us and find the best way to do a TLS the edge of our signaling layer.
And you can reach us on our new Slack channel, OpenSIPs.js Slack channel. Yay!
Nice.
Nitzan,
Yeah.
let's you and me meet offline and start up a little LinkedIn campaign about opening up the room to everybody, what our efforts and goals are, and everybody is welcome
Yeah,
to come and
absolutely.
participate.
More than welcome. Excellent.
Absolutely. We
It's a
have here
date.
Sergey and Bogdan. We're promising both of their nipples, whatever needed.
All right,
We
let's
are
hope it
all
doesn't
here
come
as-
to that. Let's hope it doesn't come to
We
that.
are all up. We don't need to.
You know, guys, that this call is being recorded. And
No,
recorded.
they're
Yeah,
streaming
I
online. I
also
know.
understand
I
it's
mean,
That's why
subject to-
that's why I'm making the announcement.
You cannot
exactly.
go back on that.
No, that's been a promise,
Okay.
a community promise.
Yeah, well, my only comment on this right now, like, make sure there is some unit test for that, or not even unit test, more like functional test.
Nice. Shame Vlad before even he wrote the code that he didn't do the unit test for it. I loving it. Thank you.
Just so you
Thank you,
guys
Maxi.
know,
You
like if
couldn't
you
have
can,
been more helpful.
if you
Yeah,
guys
but
can,
that kind of helps to make sure it works, right? Because as Razvan said, the OpenSIPs project is likely to be using I mean, it's cool for, but not everyone has as much traffic as you guys do. So like most of the people will still probably stick with like Wolf SSL if that's what OpenSIPs project seems like.
And then they will move to WebRTC because everybody moves to WebRTC at one point. And then at one certain point, they would like to just update something in the background.
He did that, and then now he moved back to SIP. So
And
I
then
don't
they
know
will meet the
about
bugs we're discussing now. Yeah, exactly.
that. So
guys, as you guys work together in the project, or working on your own, whenever you have the ability to do a little video clip of something working, get it to me in Nitzan.
Yeah, for sure.
Again, people are responding to like, video evidence of for credibility. Even if we're showing some stupid flow that works, believe me, it's gonna get eyeballs.
Yeah, make sure there are some boobs in the frame.
Max, you know
Hey,
something?
Not just eyeball.
Exactly, especially again, it's all a different game after doing the Janus implementation. Really, now we have a whole different ability of doing multi-stream of multi-people videos on different angles of them. So we are all really looking forward to getting the community forward on
Sick
the.
motherfucker. You should not be allowed around children, okay? I'll tell you that right now.
Jesus Christ. You know, I use this YouTube link for this channel as a alibi for not being home in front of my wife. Thank you. Just kidding.
What are you talking about? I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, I know. She can see where we are right now, you see.
Yeah. Well done. Well done.
Not with Shlomi's talk here in the background. All good. All right.
All right,
I think it's been a great session, guys, right?
right.
Yeah, Rizwan, you're
Sorry I
good.
was late, guys.
Yeah,
All good,
I
all
have
good.
actually just one remark.
Mhm.
Max, I don't think I've implemented so far the DTLS implementation in OpenSIP, the DTLS support. I think you've already sent me some tests showing how the commands should look.
What's going on?
I'll try to get that implemented, but it would be nice to have them in the copy commands as well. Yeah,
this will
let's
come,
take it.
but one step at a time, right?
Yes, exactly.
Not
No,
overload
because we
or-
have, for example, multi-stream is probably more important than having this, but it would be nice to have it.
Yeah,
Just-
This is definitely on to-do list for the like more longer term, I guess.
Awesome.
Nice, cool. Thanks everyone for the input. Yeah, I think we are pretty much done on all points. So thanks again everyone for contributing. It's good to see progress being made on several fronts.
Thank you.
Max,
Thank you,
Max.
Maxim.
Hey,
See you all in
Max.
2 months.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
will
yeah.
make it
Yeah, Max,
individual,
thank
know?
you
We
for
will not-
contributing to the OpenSIP Summit this year and setting a new high and setting something for us all to strive and achieve. Your picture said it all.
Okay. Yeah.
Be well, gentlemen. Be blessed. Everybody stay safe.
Hey, stay
Thanks
safe.
you,
for doing
thank
this,
you.
Max.
Thank you,
Thanks
Max.
for
Thank you,
coming.
everyone.
Thanks,
Stay
Max.
safe.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Take
Bye,
care.
everyone.
Have a good one.
Bye.